think it kind of goes back to, I think one of the most important things, the pattern, is like consistency and character, like, and submission integrity and integrity and submission to God. Because I think one thing that people don't understand is that, again, it kind of goes back to the point I was talking about, like, every single thing in your life has to be done in reverence of God. There's not a single part that you have in your life that's your own. Everything needs to be done according to the standard of word and according to like your fear, your reverent fear of God. And I think if you're at a place in life where you still see stuff based on, again, your own emotions, your own feelings, based on what the actual thing is. So in this sense, like, if it's my exams, I can do this anyhow. But if this is my work and it's like, I don't know, some seniors are coming in, that's when I need to pattern. If you don't have that level of integrity, I think integrity is the thing that will stand the test of time. Like, that's what you said. I think that's private and in public. And consistency to people.
Yeah. Do you know why this is a big thing? I think
it's true.
I'm not being sexist or misogynistic here, innit? But I think that this is...
Where's he going with this?
No, this is what I'm going to go with.
Take this one.
No, this is a big thing for guys and men. So cool. Pastor Eric, who always says this thing of,
Triple OG, bro. Super stamped.
Super stamped, bro.
Crazy.
He says this thing of, you know, if she's with the vision, she ain't got to go. And so he makes it very clear, you know, in your 20s as a man, one of the big things you got to do is kind of develop a vision for your life. But yeah, a lot of guys, what they do instead of developing a vision is developing an image. And they work on developing the image of their life. But now, yeah, you see, let's say you want the woman who she's driven, career driven, or smart, or God fearing, and you bring her into your life. Yo,
she sees everything.
If she tests your diamonds and it's fake, you're cooked.
She sees everything, bro.
And this is the thing, innit? Like, I remember, yeah. I think one of the things that I think shocked my girl the most, yeah, when like we got together, or before then, is like she saw like the structure of my life. She said, "What the flip is this?" She's like, "How do you sleep like this? How do you live like this?" I was like, "Vibes, bro." Like, do you get me? And it's like, it was only at that point that I kind of realized, like, having somebody in close proximity to you, they're gonna test your diamonds.
Oh yeah.
And you know, like,
every day.
If my girl turned around and said to me, I can't be with a girl that's like that. Love, what can I say?
Nothing. And she's right.
Bro.
No, she's right.
And that's the thing. It's like, I think this is the thing. Now, I think the integrity thing has to be you in the mirror. When you say you're gonna do this to yourself, when you set to-do lists and whatnot, I think this is one thing that you two, I was telling Biz, I think that you two are very, very similar on this. See, Quabs and Biz, yeah? You lot are sly extremists, but nonetheless, when they say
this will be done,
it's getting done. Yeah. If Quab says, I'm going to put a 12-hour shift in the library because I've got an exam on Monday, it's not going to be 10 hours, it's not going to be 11 and a half, 12 hours minimum. If Biz says, bro, this guy, yeah, it was winter one time in uni. This guy said, like, it's winter, so I'm going to run to the gym topless to, like, condition my body. I said, yeah. FaceTime this brother. Bro, let's start in December.
Yeah, crazy.
I'm thinking, what's wrong with this guy? But it's that thing, there's an integrity in the mirror.
Yeah.
Do you get me?
And even on that, like, I think that's when I realized I was ready. I knew that I treat Alive, which was our uni fellowship group, the same. I treat that here. I treat my parents' relationship here. Everything I started to realize in my life, obviously I'm not perfect, but I started to realize everything I do, I know that I'm accountable to God. Mm-hmm. There isn't one thing I can cheat out of, if that makes sense. I knew that, okay, if I'm in a relationship, it's not about whatever the person does. It's me and God. And I think a lot of people don't know that. Mm-hmm. And that's when, if you don't know that, then it's done. Don't even start it. Because if you don't know that, your actions aren't onto the other person. It's always onto God. And we always say that even as a pod team. That's how the Christian life should be. But especially when it comes to relationships, that's something that a lot of people don't realize or don't believe in. You think your actions are based on the other person.
Do you know where this comes in? First things first, because I wanted to land my point before, just so nobody thinks I'm misogynistic. Why I was saying that's important for a guy is because at the end of the day, you're the person that's going to be the leader of the household. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so if you can't establish a vision, because cool, naturally, from the biblical standpoint, a man sets the vision, the woman is the helper. Cool. So imagine now you're at work, yeah? Your manager comes into the monthly meeting for the team. Yeah, guys. So yeah, so cool. What's our targets? We're just gonna play by ear, see what happens. Okay, cool. So now then, mid-month meeting comes. How's talking? I don't really know. I wasn't even tracking the targets, but I think we look like we're doing all right. eventually you lot are going to be like, this manager doesn't have a clue what she's doing. I don't want to work in a place like this. I don't know what my targets are. I don't know what my performance metrics are. How do I perform well? How do I not perform well? And so if you put that same kind of context here, eventually, one more thing, what kind of leadership is this? Why would I even want to help this? There's no vision to help. There's nothing to help here.
Nothing to
and
help.
it's like, I'm not saying, and then I think, but this also has to be tempered because I think then as a guy, what you don't want to do is think, I have to have my life, my 10-year plan, my 20-year plan. And I was telling, me and Biz were talking about this, I said, you don't have to know exactly what you want to do, but what you need to do is, how about, this is the direction I want to go in, and this is what I'm doing to go in that
These are
direction.
the habits you're
Do you get me?
building.
If I get 5 years down the line,
It's a habits
and
thing, man.
my focus has changed, whatever, cool, but this was the direction, then if God pivots me or I want to pivot for whatever reason, so be it. And I think one of the perfect examples of this, there's two in the Bible. Adam and Eve. When Eve came, Eve had a very specific assignment. A helper in Adam's role as steward in God's creation. Then what she ended up being was a helper in destroying God's creation. Why? Because of poor leadership. So a lot of there's a theory or a view on the situation that did Adam properly communicate to Eve that she wasn't supposed to eat the apple? We weren't there. We don't fully know, but clearly, even when she said to him, "Eat this apple," he should have said, "We don't do that around here, bro." But he said, "Yeah."
Why not?
Do you get me? And it's like, then you see how, because of his bad behavior and his bad leadership, he dragged her down. People say, "Oh, but she's the one that went first." He's the
But
leader
he's
of
the one
situation.
that's supposed to.
Do you get me? And that's why, you know, when people say you're a reflection of your parents' leadership of you, and it's similar. The other best example, I'll advise everybody to watch David Guzik's sermon on Acts chapter 5 on Ananias and Sapphira. He said this thing about how one of the big problems was Ananias and Sapphira compartmentalized how they treated the church and how they treated their money. They wanted to give to the church because they love God, but they didn't want to give all of it because their money is their finances. If they said, I'm being accountable to God in both situations, then when we're telling the church we're giving them money, we'll give however much we say we're going to give because integrity goes across both. But now, so there you see the integrity thing. But now, because Ananias was also a bad leader and he didn't kind of communicate and keep that standard consistent, he killed both him and his wife. And this is the thing, when you look on the flip side of Joseph and Mary, because Joseph started that relationship on, I love God, and if this is what God has called me to, I'm going to do it. Then when the time came to go to Egypt, when the time came to bring the family back, to raise Jesus, Mary, even though she was the one that was giving Jesus, could follow Joseph's leadership every time because the standard was the same and because he had, this is the thing, like, the relationship with God is not even the foundation that's necessary for a relationship. A relationship with God is the foundation that's necessary for your life. For a relationship, the foundation that's necessary is that accountability before God in every single aspect. Because if you want a God-fearing woman and you step out of line in your accountability to God, if she comes before you and says, I don't want to be with you because you don't listen to God, there is nothing you can say.
Nothing.